Hey guys, welcome back. It's your guide Lars, and this is part 2 of doing the very basics, getting some detailed information on how to do the most basic of things. Before we start, I'd like to give a special shout out to some people that have done an exceptional job with their videos and have supplied information over the years. Firstly, I'd like to thank Hybrid Steel for his videos and his words of encouragement. He's done a really good job. You should check out his videos. In addition, we have Dre and Blitz. They have great videos and are very funny to boot. So, special shout out and a thank you to those guys. So, some things that we want to cover today is getting unstuck. If you happen to get stuck somewhere, there's an easy way to get out of it. Also, we'll take a look at the cart, and we're going to look at some pipes and getting started on the first step of automation. So, let's go with getting unstuck. Here I've been working on my hole since the last video. I've made it a little bigger. It's pretty deep, and you can see bedrock down there. And so if I fall down in a hole, I cannot climb up, I can't jump up, I can't get out of this hole, alright? So if I hit my escape key and I click on unstuck, it brings me right back to my starting point area. And you may have noticed too that I am running mods in my game. There's some that like freezes the time. There's a bunch of different things that it does. It's very helpful. These are legacy mods. These are supported by the dev. So you can have a look for those and install them as you see fit. I'm not using mods to cheat in the game, in my opinion. Perhaps some people will feel differently, but I do want to freeze the time, keep it daylight for the purpose of these videos. So, again, to get unstuck, if you hit your escape key, click the unstuck button, it'll take you back to the starting point. It's also very helpful if you have your truck or excavator and get in a precarious position, or if you happen to have a collision and clip something with your truck and you're spinning wildly through the air, which tends to happen sometimes, you can calmly hit the escape key, unstuck, it'll put your truck back down safely on the ground. Alright. Another thing I want to cover real quick too is this cart. This is a great addition to the game. I just love this. I wish I'd had this back when I first started playing. The cart has so many good functions, but one thing about it, once you clip onto the cart, you don't have the freedom of movement just to turn like you would normally with your mouse. With a cart, it's actually, you have to think of it as driving a vehicle. WASD. Alright, so you highlight it, you hit the E key as with everything, and whatever way you're facing, when you hit the E key, your cart's going to wind up directly behind you. So I'll click the E key, now the cart's behind me. I can't look around. What I can do is hit W to go forward, A and D for left and right, S of course for reverse. If I take the cart over here to the shop, this is another little pro tip for you. I'll come over here, I'll hit the E key, and it drops the cart. Alright. And I've been busy while you guys have been gone. I did a little bit more mining, that's why my hole's bigger. And I've got 1,400 coins, which isn't too terribly bad. What I want to cover right now is getting started with pipes. It's going to make things easier. So one of the things that I need right off the bat is a pickaxe. Again, I highlight it, hit the E key to pick it up. I could take it over here to the cart. This is what I want to show you. Normally you would take it over here, you would drop it, you'd pay for it, right? We're going to do it a little differently. We're going to save some time. If I drop it in my cart here, there's my pickaxe. And here's all of our pipes, our corks, all that good stuff, alright? So the first thing I need is going to be an intake water pipe. This is a must. Now, sometimes when you go to place it, you get weird things like that happen. Alright, but a little trick get it where you want it, jump up in the air, and then hit the E key while you're in the air, like this. Oh, and then it falls out. I'm actually glad it's doing that, so you can kind of see. Sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, right? Okay, so now we have that in the cart. And we're going to need, we'll need some elbows. So I'm going to drop that in. I'm going to get a few elbows. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I want to pause this video, and then I want to come back to it after I've got the cart loaded, and so we don't waste your time, okay? Be right back. Alright guys, welcome back. So I've loaded up my cart, and now I want to try to get, well, now I'm stuck. Not good. There we go. So I have my cart attached, and all I'm going to do now is try to position it on this platform.
Huh?
Okay, it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to try to position it on the platform. And what I'll do then is pay for everything at one time. This could be a little bit tricky getting it right where you want it.
Huh?
You hear it saying, huh?
Huh?
That just means it doesn't like where we're at. We're clipping into something. There we go. And remember what I told you earlier in the last episode? Is if your items are anywheres on the platform and you have a buy amount here, you can purchase it. This is a little shortcut. I could have grabbed every piece of pipe one at a time, placed them on the platform, bought them all, then loaded them into the cart, and then take them back over. But this way, load them in the cart, putting the whole cart on the platform, it saves you a step. And like I said, while you guys were away, I kept digging, and now I've got a little bit more money, $1,400 here, or coins. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my cart, if it'll let me, try to get out, take my cart back over to our little starting area. And what I'm going to do is start placing some pipes to get over here to our hole. Hit the E key to release the cart. Okay. So our starting pipe is this one, the intake water valve. I use the E key to pick it up. What I want to try to do is get on a straight line with my hole. Okay. Then I'm going to place it by left click. I'm going to mouse around until I get to where I want it. Now you have three keys, R, Y, and T, to position things. So I've got it turned the way I want it to go. The question is, do I want it to go up higher? Yeah, let's try that. Nope, too high. So let's try again. Alright, we're in the water. And what I can do, I like my pipes to be a little bit higher. So here's an elbow pipe. I take my elbow pipe. I want to try to position it. There we go. Just connect one to the next. I can take a straight pipe. I can connect it. If I hit my T key, oh, my Y key, there we go. Got to get it highlighted where you want it. Then you left click and it places it. Like I said, I like mine to go up kind of high so that I can walk under it easily and not have to jump over it. Alright. So I'm going to do a couple more pieces, and then I'm going to pause, build it out, and let you see the next step. So let's put one more elbow on. Okay, so let's pause right here. I will be back shortly. And we're back. Alright, so here's what we're doing. we were doing the first steps of automation. Okay, this is really not automation yet, but we're getting there. So we've dug a hole down to bedrock. So the next step is we need to keep getting that good ore off the bottom. The way we do this is we run some pipe all the way over into our hole. The reason I said you want to go toward the middle is because here, if you notice how the ground slopes, it continues that underground as well. Okay? So you want to be out in the good dirt. And I probably could have came over a little further, but that's fine. Now as you notice, the water is splashing on the edge of my hole. Okay? Well, that doesn't help us much in this case because we want to get down to the bottom. So what we want to do, I had bought a pickaxe while I was at the store. I'll pick it up with my E key. I come over here. I'll just get rid of some of this top dirt. I don't need this top dirt. I'll make my hole a little bigger. Because what I want to try to do is put some foundations down so that I can start getting down to the bottom and get the good ores, right? Alright, so tell you what. Don't want you to sit here and watch me dig the whole time. So I'm going to pause and I'll come back. Alright guys. So what I've done is to dig up my hole here a little bit better. And inadvertently made a heart shape. It was an accident. Alright, so what I want to do next is I need to get my mining pan, my buckets. I need to extend my pipe down. And so I'm going to I will get some foundations so I can get in and out of my hole easier. So let me go over to the store real quick. I'll show you where those are at. And we'll get that built up and then we'll come back. So here is a wooden foundation. I E key to pick it up. I E key to drop it. I'll stack up several of these. I'll purchase them. I'll go. Oh, here's another little trick. When you're trying to purchase something like this, you can line two items up. If you jump up in the air and hit the E key, it'll drop on top of it. If I try to place it right here, oh, see how it goes flying through the air? It caused a collision, right? But if I pick up one and I come to where the other one is, I'll line them up. I jump up in the air, hit the E key. Now it stacks it up, right? Alright, so let's pause with that and I shall return. Alright guys, to pick up where we left off, what I did, so you didn't have to watch all this boring stuff, I put some foundations in down here in the bottom. I finished my pipe to get it into my pit. I dropped a few buckets, my pan, my shovel, and then I bought a bunch of other things here too. Let me show you what I got. I got a bunch of foundations, because what I want to do is make something here on the ground where I can put my cauldron, my anvil, my gem grinder, or the grinding wheel, on top of this foundation. And what we're trying to do here is so we don't have to carry buckets over to the river to get water to wash them off, right? So this is going to make it go a lot faster. It's going to start getting us our money, to get to the next stage. And in the process of all this, surprisingly, the last thing I bought was the grinding wheel, and it ended up leaving me 26 cents when I got done. Alright, so what I want to do right now is I'm going to grab, with my E key, one of the foundation blocks, right? And I want to left click, it makes it blue. I can put it wherever it's blue. But what I want to do is I want to put it near my pit where I can easily come out of my pit and have a place set up so that I can smelt. I can do all my good stuff, right? So I'm going to grab each one of these, and what I'm doing is I'm using the E key to pick it up, left clicking so it's blue, and I'm pushing it down toward the dirt and dragging it to where I want it. I left click to place it. Simple as that. Okay? You can do yours wherever you like. This just happens to be convenient for me. And another thing to mention that is really important, as you go about putting things in the world, as you build pipe, as you get your ores together, all that good stuff. All these things start to count, okay? And eventually, if you have too much stuff, you will start lagging big time, depending on your computer. The way to help avoid that is by locking things in place. To lock things in place, you need a construction hammer. So, here's some of the things that I bought. This is a mold for your ingots, cauldrons to smelt things, furnace that you have to put your cauldron on top of to smelt. There's an anvil, the grinding wheel, and a blacksmith hammer. The one thing I can't afford right now is a scale, but that'll come later. So a friend of mine, River, has asked to explain the cauldron, and we will. So what I want to do first is I'm going to pick up this construction hammer. I'm going to come to anything that's orange and left click it. This locks it in place so you don't accidentally pick it up later, and it helps with your pixel count or object count, so it helps with lag. And then what we can do is we'll come up, we'll do all of our pipes the same way, and I'm going to take care of these and I'll come right back. Alright guys, what I did is I locked everything down. All my pipes are locked down. They're no longer silhouetted or highlighted in orange, meaning that if I hit the E key, I can't grab them and mess up my little system here. So that my friend, like I mentioned, River, has asked me to explain this furnace to you. If I use my E key and I pick it up, I left click, I can place it. And when I place it, it automatically starts getting a fire going, right? But here's a little trick for you, which I kind of like. If you hit the E key again, you left click, but now instead of placing it on top, I put it underneath. See how it's blue just by the corner of the edge, right? Left click. Now I can put a cauldron on top, and it kind of saves space. Alright, so with that in mind, I'm just going to pick up a few other things here. I'm going to left click and place them. Again, I'll left click. I'll hit R to rotate it. And I don't like that there. We'll put it over here. Okay. And here, these cauldrons. That's another little time saver that I do, is to drop these down in a hole if I have space. What I'll do is drop them down in the hole, and as I mine my gold, my iron ore, I'll drop them into the cauldron. I'll drop all the iron into one cauldron, all the gold into another cauldron. Reason being is you don't want to mix your gold and your iron in a single cauldron, because once you start smelting, it's going to mess it up, right? So if you have all iron in one, all gold in another, as you go along, you pick them up, pick up your cauldron, bring it over, set it on top of the fire, and eventually this is going to get very hot, and it's going to smelt the gold and the iron. You would then pick it up, you would bring it over to your mold. You have your blue circle over the mold. You'd left click, it would pour out your molten gold or molten iron, and it would form an ingot just by that mold right there. Alright, so let me pause one more time, and I'm going to take these down, and if I have room, I will place them down below, get set up down there, and show you your next step. Be right back. Alrighty, here we are in the bottom of our pit. As you can see, I've got little crates here set up so that we can get out of the crate, hopefully fairly easily. And I have my big pan down here, but now I've got pipe coming down, and I have a control valve that when I turn the control valve by left clicking it, I get water falls down into my pan. Okay? Again, because we need dirt and water, right, to get our resources. So what I'll do, shut that off right now, and what I like to do is pick up my improved shovel. And I'll start filling up my buckets. I'll left click on my dirt, left click the bucket. Again, it's the blue circle, wherever the blue circle is. And these buckets now with the improved shovel, they only hold 2 pieces or 2 shovelfuls of dirt. Alright? E key to drop my shovel. E key to pick up the bucket. Dump it in. Drop my bucket. And I need to go get my brush. Be right back. Okay, I went and got my brush. So I use the E key to pick it up. Just like before, I highlight the pan, a couple magic sweeps, and we got our first pieces of ore. Again, pick up the next bucket, get the green dot over the center of the pan, I dump it, drop my bucket, I'll turn on the water. It only needs a drop, right? E key, pick up the brush, sweep it. Now notice the size of these ores. They're actually pretty nice. Drop it over here, you can see it. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So I'm putting this back in the pan. Again, we'll just keep everything in the pan. Now ideally, I would have another 2 or 3 pans here. Because what I'll do is take the shards and I'll put them in a pan. The gems, I'll put them in a separate pan. And Cloutium, I'll put them in another pan. And we'll get there. But for now, let's go ahead and just continue this for a few minutes. Turn the water on. Turn it back off. Take my brush. Starting to get some nice stuff here. Really am. Okay, but now you see the basics, right? We had our pit that we started digging. And I took the pickaxe and I widened out the pit so that I could get down here to the bottom. And as you notice, I really have not taken much of the bottom. So at this bedrock level, this is where all the good stuff is coming from. I don't want to sit here and take my pickaxe and make this thing really big. It'll get there just by shoveling. And me personally, I don't care about the top dirt up here. So if you wanted to take a pickaxe and dig it down a little ways, that's your call. But you still get stuff out of it. It's just not going to be this size. Alright? So, once we have our foundations in place here, we have a couple smelting pots, and then like I say, what I do is I'll take this pan, oop, collision right there, take the pan, place it down, I'll get up here, I'll pick out gold to go into one of them. Now see right there is an uncut emerald. I'll just drop that over there right now. I'll take that moment and show it to you. But I place iron in one, gold in the other, okay? And the reason I do that is because once you get enough, you can start smelting it and make them into ingots or bars. And that's where you start to use your anvil. You can start making money. But for right now, let's grab this gem. And if you notice on my bottom left corner screen, it says uncut emerald. You'll use emeralds in necklaces and rings. So here is the grinding wheel. I'm holding this in my hand. I picked it up with my E key. And while I have the blue dot and it's highlighting the grinding wheel, I can left click and it'll cut it into a nice cut emerald. So let's see what it does. There we go. Now you notice in the bottom screen it changed from uncut gem to an emerald. If I had a scale, I could drop it on there and see what it's actually worth. I can also take this emerald now to the store. I could sell it at the jewelry store and get more for it than if it was uncut. Does that make sense? Alright. Another thing to show you real quick is this anvil. Eventually you're going to smelt gold and iron and you want to make things. With the anvil, if I left click, okay, the first thing that comes up is a dagger. It's a little hard to see, but you can see the red circle, or the red, I don't know, dot in the middle. and it's a dark gray square around it. That represents iron. So you need an iron ingot. You would need one of them to make this dagger. If I left click the anvil again, now we have an axe. Again, you need iron, and you need 2 pieces of iron to make the axe. Next one is a sword. Iron, 3 irons to make a sword. Next one is just a basic ring, but now it's white with a red dot in the middle, representing gold. 1 gold ingot to make this ring. I left click. Now I have a ring with a diamond. So I've got 1 gold, and I need 1 cut gem. Okay, so it could be an emerald, it could be a sapphire, it could be a ruby. And now a new addition to the game is onyx. So there's different options. An onyx is worth more than a sapphire or ruby. And these come in different sizes too, guys. So if you had a scale, it's not a bad idea to weigh them out if you want to get the most amount of money. If you're making a ring or a necklace and you want to see how much it's worth, you can drop it on the scale. It'll tell you what that particular emerald or ruby is worth. Alright, let's left click again. Here's a necklace. And you can see again it needs a gem, right? So you've got now 2 gold bars and a gem in order to make the necklace. If I left click again, it just takes it back to nothing and then back to the dagger. So what I probably am going to do here, guys, is I'm going to pause and I want to get a little iron, a little gold together where I can show you how to actually craft it, okay? So give me some time, we'll come back and we'll pick it back up. Thank you. Alright, guys. I made a couple changes while I was off screen here. I took my 2 cauldrons out and I moved them up to the top just so we'd have a little more space here. I added a couple more foundation pieces and I put them only in the bedrock. So I still want the dirt that's all around on the bottom, that really good dirt. I made very, very, very quickly. I think maybe 2 or 3, 4 bucketfuls, maybe a little bit more. I was able to take that little bit and go sell it, and I was able to buy some extra buckets and some pans. So, like I said, you want a separate pan for your shards, another one for your cloudium, another one for your gems. And what I'll tend to do is I'll sit down here and I'll dig and I'll fill up my buckets and I'll brush them and I'll let that pan get full, or after a while, they never get full. There's not a capacity limit on it. But after a while, then I'll go through it and I'll start separating. And I'll put my cloudium in one pan, my shards in another pan, and my gems in another pan. Alright? Then I'll take that pan up and I'll separate it to my 2 cauldrons. So for just a minute here, real quick, we're going to dig and we're going to go through the process. And I just kind of want you to see what size ores we're getting, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. Like I said before, the trick is to get down to the bedrock, because the lower you go, the deeper it is, the better your ores are going to be, okay? Alright, and you notice my bucket is upside down, there's one laying outside. Again, it doesn't matter. They don't have to be standing upright in order to put dirt in them. And again, I hit my E key, I drop my shovel, I'll pick up a bucket. Let's pick that one up. I'll take it over here to my pan. I left click with the green circle in the pan. It drops my dirt in, right? I'll just drop that bucket. I'll turn on our valve. I saw a drop of water fall. Turn off the valve. Pick up my brush with my E key. Sweep, sweep, drop. So we're getting nice sized pieces of ore out of this. And we'll just rinse and repeat really quick. I just want you guys to see how it goes. E key to drop your bucket. Left click the valve. Left click again to turn it off. And my friend River also mentioned too that if you put a pan underneath, you won't hear the dripping and splashing sound. That for me, it drives me insane. I just can't handle it for very long. But if you put a pan under there, you can leave it dripping all the time. But you have to be careful that the water doesn't hit your bucket as you're dumping it, because it'll just wash away your resources. Alright, so that's my preferred method, is just to turn the valve each time. And we're getting some nice size ores out of this, really are. And that's going to be awesome, because we need that. Alright, so one more time, turn the valve on, turn it off, pick up the brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay down here for a little while. I'm going to get a bunch going, and I will pause while I'm doing that so I don't bore you to death. But once that's done, I'll come back and I'll show you our next steps. Alright, be back shortly. Alright guys, so I've been spending just a few minutes, and I've cleared off a little bit of the bottom area here with my shovel. And I've done the methods I've shown you, dumping my dirt into my pan, turning on my water valve, turn it back off, take my brush, brushing it. So I've got a good amount of resources here. Not huge, but it's something to get started with. And the other thing I did too is, you remember where you got your shovel up by the post, where when you first come in the game? Well, I picked the lantern up and I brought it down here. And just to show you how that works real quick, when you first get it, it's going to be turned off. So you use your E key to pick it up, and while you're holding it, you left click, it turns the light on. You see the green circle? I just want to try to drop it in the corner. There we go. Alright. Now, what I think I'm also going to do, after some consideration, because my area is so small here, eventually it'll get bigger. And I could even take a pickaxe and start working out the upper layer, but be very, very careful not to pickaxe the bottom layer, because when you use a pickaxe, those materials disappear. You don't get anything for them. They're just gone. Okay? So what I'm probably going to do is to cut away, but I'm going to take these pans up to my platform, and then I'm going to take this pan, I'll go up to the platform, and I'll start sorting things out. And then after my area gets bigger, I would add more foundations down here to the bottom. I would bring my pans back down, and I would do all my sorting down here. Another thing I'm doing right now is I'm only working with 5 buckets. Typically I will have 10 to 20 buckets. And what I like to do is fill all my buckets up and then go through the process of dumping and washing and, rinse and repeat. Alright, so I'm going to cut away for a few minutes while I move these pans upstairs, because your time is valuable and I don't want to take up your time watching something that's not needed. So I'm going to cut away, I'm going to move those pans upstairs, and then I'll come back. Alright guys, so what I've done is I've moved my pans, my empty pans and all, up to my surface area. I have my 2 cauldrons. If you remember, I put a little bit of iron in one, a little bit of gold in the other one. So now I'm going to do the process of sorting what I've dug up, sorting it all out into these 5 categories essentially. I also added, in case you noticed, I've added a few more foundation pieces in the back, and I moved my furnace over into the corner. I brought my cot over, and I've locked everything down. So that's again going to help with any kind of lag that I might experience. So I don't want to bore you guys with the details of dropping and picking up and doing this process over and over. So what I'll do, again, I'm going to cut away, and when I come back, we'll smelt a couple of ingots, and we'll go from there. We'll see you in a bit. Alrighty, welcome back. So, another little trick I want to show you is what I like to do is I'll try to get centered so that as I'm cleaning out my pan, I can turn one way, drop something, turn another way, drop something. But another neat little trick is the fact that The pan back there, if I were to drop this right now, would land in the pan right in front of me. If I hold the E key, see how much it stretched it out? I let go of the E key and hit the E key again, and it dropped it right in the pan. Okay, so that way I don't have to run over here, drop it, and run back. You know what I mean? It's up to you, however you want to do it. Alright, so our next step, we've got a little bit of gold here in this cauldron. So we're going to pick up the entire cauldron. We're going to go over here and drop it in on our furnace. The furnace is underneath this foundation. Notice right away it's starting to get red hot. Alright, when we hear it smelt and sizzle, this will turn into a liquid. We'll pick it up. We'll put the blue dot over the mold. We'll pour it out with our left click of the mouse, and we'll have an ingot. Then we'll do the same thing for the iron. Okay? So, another thing we can do while we're waiting on that is we can take some of our uncut gems, go to the grinding wheel, left click the grinding wheel, and we'll have cut gems. Might as well do those while we're waiting. Again, I'm just using the E key to pick these things up, okay? And then I aim it at the grinding wheel, left click, drop it. Ah, you should have heard that sound, right? So that means our gold has smelted down to a liquid form. Alright. And what we're going to end up doing, let's go get our gold. Our liquid gold. Alright, so I'm going to use the E key to pick it up. I'm going to put the blue dot on the mold, left click, there we go. Just drop my cauldron. And I got a hot gold ingot, that's alright. Doesn't burn you, you don't take any damage in this game. For now, I'm just going to hit the E key to drop my ingot. I'm going to change this. Let's make a diamond ring. There we go. Remember, we only need one gold bar and we need one jewel, right? I'm going to pick my gold ingot back up. I'm going to put a green dot on the anvil where I want it to fall at. Hit the E key to drop it. The tricky part is this right here sometimes. It's just sometimes getting the gem to stay on it can be difficult. Ah, got the first try. Okay, so again, we brought up the diamond ring emblem on the anvil. We have our gem on there, but the next step, I skipped a step. We have to get our gold bar hot. You can't make anything with it when it's cold. Okay. So what you do is you get it good and hot. You'll bring it back over into the anvil. You drop it. You pick up your blacksmith hammer. You hit it anywhere on the anvil. It'll make your item. Okay. It cools down very quickly, so I'll probably move a little fast in that process, that step. All right. Anyway, it's hot. It's glowing. I'm just gonna stand back a little bit. Hit the E key. Pick it up. Get my green dot. Drop it. Pick up my blacksmith hammer. Click the anvil. Left click. There we go. We just made a ring. If you notice, it says a sapphire ring. Alright. Next step. Let's go up to the jewelers and we'll also look at the stock exchange to see what this is worth. We'll go to the stock exchange first. If by chance there's a green arrow in the stock exchange, we'll sell it there. Everything is still in no demand for it. So let's see how much we would get. If we were to drop it here and we look, that's worth 2,002 coins. Okay? But we're not going to sell it there. We're going to take it back over here to the jewelry. The jeweler. Same amount. Okay. Would have thought it might have been worth a little more here, but that's fine. So the sapphire ring that we just made is worth 2,002 coins. Not bad. I'll pick up the coins, run them back down. So another little pro tip is that your store, there's nothing in the game going to steal your money, so you can leave your money in your buckets. And here's a little shortcut to get down to the store. E key to drop. So now we got 2,604 coins. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mentioned earlier about buying a scale so we could see what things are worth. There is not a scale here in the store. For those of you that have already played, there's a map, and it shows you where things are at on the map. However, I've kind of got it memorized, so I don't need it. I'm going to shoplift this so it puts it back. Alright, so let's do this. Let me show you where Bridgeport is, which is a big town that has it has everything else that you need. That's where you're going to get your conveyor belts, your grinders, your ram drills, your Goliaths and Davids. What I tend to do, you don't take any damage in this game, right? So I tend to do a shortcut. I could go over that bridge, I could go all the way around, but why bother? Don't need to. I'm just going right over there to that store. Bad thing is, I didn't bring my money with me, so I'm not going to be able to buy it. But I'll show you where it is. I'll go back and get my money. Anyway, when you come here, there's another jeweler here. Okay. Then you have all these stores for things like foundations. It has everything that your other store, mostly everything that your other store had, but a lot of other things too. Walls and doors, roofs, windows, sheet metal. Okay. What we're looking for is over here. This is a scale right there, and it costs, scale. It costs 146. I take it over here, I drop it. I can't buy it because I didn't bring my money. So let me cut away, get my money, and I shall return. Alrighty. So what I did, I purchased the scale, and I brought it back, and I placed it, and I went back, got my money, and brought it back and put it here in our local store. I did all that off screen. I don't want to waste your time. So what I've also done is I picked up one of my gems that I had cut, and I placed it, dropped it on the scale. You can see on the bottom it says 1.58. That's the weight of that particular gem. The C39, it means that's worth 39 coins. Not too terrible bad. I pick up one of the other ones. Let's see what it weighs and what it costs or worth. So that's 1.79, and it's worth 44 coins. So when you're making your jewelry, whether it be a necklace or a ring with a gem, you may want to weigh and check the value of your gem. Okay, and the bigger your ingots, and the bigger your gems, obviously, when you combine them, they're going to be worth more money. Okay, so with that being said, here is your basic setup. So what we covered today was running our pipes, putting in a shutoff valve, putting in some foundations on the bottom, okay, and always digging down around the bottom near the bedrock to get our best ores. We put down foundations here for a little starting area. We locked them down with a construction hammer. We sorted our materials into two different cauldrons, which I'll pick that one up, let it start melting. We made a ring using our anvil, left clicking till we get to the one we want. Okay, so we made that ring with a gem and a gold ingot, or gold bar, right? We sorted all of our materials into different groups. And guys, I'm going to tell you, hang on to your resources. These shards may seem annoying, and the same thing for Cloudium. Cloudium's not worth much at all. However, there's another part of the game that we haven't even discussed yet. You're able to make your own pipes. Most of them, not all, but quite a few. You could make your own pipes and you could save money. And it's fun to do. But in order to do that, you have to get blueprints. And to get the blueprints, you're going to end up needing some Cloudium to do it. Okay? So, don't throw anything away. The shards, you're going to end up taking those and smelting them down and making shard ingots. You'll need those for once you start really getting into automation, okay? So, again, please don't throw anything away. You'll regret it later if you do. Alright, real quick, we've got the iron melted down. E key, let's pick it up. Blue dot over the mold. We'll left click. There we go, we dropped it. Let's just drop the cauldron out of the way. Now we'll pick this up. We'll get it red hot. Meanwhile, let's make... We've only got the one ingot, so let's just make a dagger. There you go. So you see it requires one iron ingot, and we can make a dagger. Alright. If you remember how we do it, blue dot over it, E key to pick it up, drop it on the anvil, get the green dot, drop it on the anvil, pick up your blacksmith hammer, hit it anywheres, and there you go. You got a dagger. Now, I'm going to try it. 99 times out of 100, this does not work. If I hit the E key and drop it, yeah, see how it likes to fall over? If it would stay up, you could actually see how much this is worth. But I can see real quick. Oh, okay, that's weird, but it worked. This is worth 898 coins. You see, guys, here was just a little bit of time. We're already starting to make good money. We've got over 2,000 sitting in our bucket. Now we're going to go sell this guy. Okay, so we're going to take it up here. We're going to look at the stock exchange first. And remember what I said, the jeweler will buy anything. But if something is green, nothing green here. If it was green, then it would be worth more money. So right now, that's 898. That's what we saw on our scale. Jeweler should probably pay the same price. Let's take a look. Yep, same price. Alright, let's go ahead and sell it. Pick up our 898 coins. I just want to run it down here to the store, drop it in. And like I said too earlier, what I like to do is to have a bunch of buckets down in the bottom of my pit. So now we're up to 3,355 coins. Not bad. Not bad. So just in a short amount of time, we are making money. And we're going to need quite a bit because the next step for us would be the automation. We already saw how to run the pipes, so we would end up getting conveyor belts, we'd get ram drills. In this area, I recommend ram drills. You could dig out and put Davids and Goliaths in, but it's such a small area. Ram drills work better. We would combine filters, pressure pumps, grinders, auto smelters. So you're going to need a good hunk of money to get that going. You would also need your truck to get you over there, carry all that stuff. Alright, so I think we're going to end this right here today, and I thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, please post them. Any comments, no problem whatsoever. And again, guys, this is just how I do it. This is how it's been shown to me by others. But all I want to do is take the time and to show you a step-by-step how-to. Not just say this is what you do, but explain that, you're using your E key, you're left-clicking, some of the do's, some of the don'ts, what's going to work best, okay? But, take liberty to do it however you want. And, again, this is your game. Have fun, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Take care.